Hey everyone, it's Henny from Pink Elephant Media, and in this section we're going to talk to you about goals. Now, without a goal, we don't have a direction of travel. And like many entrepreneurs, it is very easy for us to get sidelined by new, more fun and more attractive things. But experience has shown that actually having one idea and getting it working incredibly well from the beginning actually results in greater revenue and an increased chance to diversify on ideas at a later date. Now, goals fills a number of categories and sections, so I'm going to talk to you about each of these and how they work within your business. So the first goal that we need to think about is, why are you actually wanting to bring this product or service to the market, and what do you hope to achieve by it? Is it to become an authoritative voice in this field, to improve your presence as a person or as a brand? Is it to build your brand, improve SEO performance across your website, to increase sales or inquiries, to increase traffic, reduce time that is spent in your business? Is it to improve processes? Is it to improve customer service experience? Whatever it is that you are doing this for, we need to make sure that we set this right from the beginning, because this stops us from getting diverted along route. The next step we need to think about is your clients' goals. What do they get from this? Because if we don't marry these two things together, then you're not going to reach your goal at all. So we have to think about things like, have you answered any objections that they may have? And let's face it, even when you're just browsing a website, and I want you next time when you're looking for something online to think, am I really thinking about purchasing this item? And you'll probably find that the answer is no, you're just browsing. You want to be persuaded to buy something. So we need to think about all the objections that clients might have. And if they are looking to buy, they're going to be stacking you up by your competitors, weighing up the pros and cons against each of you. So we need to answer these objections in a positive way to allow us to get that sale. And typically when you do that, you will see an increase in conversion rates. You want to ensure that you've shown them value. Clients want to feel like they got something more than they expected. And that might be to do with the experience. It may be to do with getting better value for money. They need to make sure that you identify yourselves in the copy, that you've solved that problem that they have. They want to make sure that you're trustworthy, that you've got a great reputation. So think about things like social proofing. They want to ensure you look professional, so maybe you have trust symbols that you can put on your site, or you can link through to your LinkedIn profile and show your qualifications there. They need to think that you deliver on time, on budget, that you look better than your competitors. They'll be looking for deal breakers, so understanding what they are and to make sure that you show them that you don't have them is absolutely key. I want you to think about things like how the client would feel like after working with you. Would they feel like that was a slick process? Would they feel good about that experience? Because ultimately, these are the sort of clients that are going to go on and refer you. Have you got things like case studies to back that up? Time saving, what they got from this experience as a whole. I want to give you an analogy here, and that is, if you are selling a fitness product, you aren't selling, for example, the weight that they're holding in their hands here. You are selling them the ability to get fit, to feel healthier, to feel better about themselves, to have maybe the body that they always wanted, so that they can go out in the summer in their bikini or trunks and look $1 million and make all of their friends jealous of them. That is the reason why they are in a gym sweating it out. You're not selling them a lump of metal, which is essentially what that is. Otherwise, people wouldn't buy it. So we really need to think about the outcome. Look at your competitors. What outcomes are they talking about? How can you better those? Because ultimately, that is what your clients are actually looking for. So when we've thought about the product and the idea, we've looked at what your competitors are doing. We have a full SWOT analysis of that. Our idea is now formed. We understand the goals of our clients. We understand our goals. We now need to put this into some kind of timeline. And that may be a 3-year or 5-year timeline. And we need to split up these goals of actually how many items do we need to sell. So how many of these services do we need to sell to be profitable, to cover the staff needs that we have, to cover the premises? What sort of pricing is that going to be? Because we need a business that is scalable and sustainable, that isn't just a one-off. So we need to think about the future costs coming down the years. It's all very well being competitive now, but if your prices change massively later because you haven't taken this into account, we're setting off on the wrong foot and your business will only grow so far. So we need to think about elements about how your business is going to grow, what it's going to look like, because we also want a website that is going to support those plans. You need a website that is flexible, that is scalable as well. Come and talk to us if you don't feel that your website fits that category, because the great thing about developing in a website that's flexible is you don't need all the bells and whistles right at the front. These can be added as time goes. And that's never been more prevalent than during the pandemic, when we saw numbers of websites coming onto our books because they were on platforms that couldn't adapt as their business grew. So we want to look at these plans and we want to break them down. So in year 1, I need to sell X amount of units. And then how are we going to do that? So you really need to beef these plans out. So you want to have year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4 from a monetary side. And then we need to look at how we are going to actually achieve that. And that means then breaking this down into further steps, into each year, into quarters. And then we need to monitor that and analyze that so that we know that we are hitting these objectives and we're not getting diverted. We are solely thinking about where does our money come from. By doing this and really analyzing what parts of our business are more profitable, it allows us also to understand where we should be concentrating our time, because we need to generate revenue quickly into our business. And having done your competitor research, we'll be able to see where their traffic is coming from. So we'll be able to see how we actually do that. And so don't forget to look at the training in the last module where we showed you the growth hacking tools, which are listed down the bottom of that training module. We need these ideas to be smart. So they need to be specific, they need to be measurable, they need to be realistic and timely. By writing these down and really understanding how this actually works is absolutely key to whether you have a successful business or not. Now, there are a number of business coaches out there. I can highly recommend Action Coach for something like this. We have a number of action coaches that we can recommend here who are excellent at what they do. But this really helps to concentrate the mind and to make sure that you've got a business that ultimately will achieve in the longer term. And this work is critical if you don't want to run out of money and have a business in 3 to 4 years that simply isn't viable and doesn't work and is certainly not scalable. So before we go into anything else, this is one of the most important parts that you can actually do. The next thing we need to do is we need to look at the routes to market. So how are we going to advertise? How are we going to get the name of our product or service out there? And the great thing about growth hacking is we can see where your competitors' traffic is coming from, what technology they're using on their websites to help convert traffic, the most visited pages, the top ad campaigns they use on their website that drive traffic, what social media channels they are using to increase engagement, the actual posts that they're posting that are being shared and resonated with, which is amazing because it means there's no more guesswork about having to think what marketing you're going to do to push your product or service out there. We also need to think about the experience that your clients are going to have once they arrive at your site, and then who is going to pick that all up. So in the next section, we're going to talk about the execution of growth hacking, how that works across the board, and how you can start to implement this within your own business.